Josh Bell was one of the best offensive players in the sport in the first half of the season. And then he really, really struggled. If Josh Bell puts together 2 first halves that he had from 2019, look at the numbers. We're talking about a guy that was on pace for 50 bombs.
Yeah.
If he puts together a full year at that level, changes the way we look at the Pirates, right?
Oh, it does. I mean, he's an impact player. And I think he's turned the corner. I don't know what happens second half. A lot of times you get tired. But I do question the DH move. Look, it's very difficult to DH. I played in the American League a long time, so when I broke in, we had a guy named Richie Zisk. Each personality is different. Richie Zisk was a guy that was like my hitting coach. He'd pull me aside, here, get your hands here, do this and that, and he'd work with me a lot in my hitting group, all right? So then I played with Chili Davis in Anaheim. Chili was a hitting coach, too. You knew he was going to be someday, but he would be like switch hitter. He and I talked a lot. He didn't grab my bat like Richie just grabbed the bat and showed me how to stand in the batter's box. Chili just raked and said, here's what I try to do. And so being a switch hitter, we had a lot of conversations. I got along great with Chili. Then I thought about Harold Baines. Harold was just quiet, but Harold was an observer. He was a guy that was always paying attention to his craft, and he didn't take extra swings and talk to everybody about hitting. He watched and observed. Listen to what Harold had to say about DHing.
Well, I just studied the pitchers on the bench. I watched the game itself. That made me a better DH.
How did you do that on the bench? Where were your eyes going? What did you watch?
I watched the catcher. The catcher causes the game. Not per se the way he moves around on the plate, but certain counts, what is he calling, and stuff like that.
Now, Alvin Davis. I came through the minor leagues with Alvin. He was the rookie of the year in 1984 in the American League. Stud, one of the best hitters I've ever been around. And one of my dear friends. We got a guy named Pete O'Brien one season, and we moved Alvin to DH. Couldn't hit. All of a sudden, AD couldn't hit. He had to be on the field. That reminds me of Josh Bell. Then there's Gorman Thomas, all right? Now, Gorman was my favorite DH of all time.
Of all time?
Of all time to play with. You know why? Because he just was playing baseball. Now, he was a guy that was used to being on the field, whether he's hitting home runs or running down balls in center field in Milwaukee. Big guy, center field guy. When he came to Seattle, it was later in his years, and he became the DH. And he'd say to me, hey, kid, let me know when you're on deck or headed to the hole because I got to get ready. Huh? He would be in the clubhouse. Now, a lot of guys, Chili Davis had a net set up, and he'd take swings in between, and Alvin tried to hit up the machine as much as he could. And I told you about Harold Baines sitting there. Gorman would have his batting glove sitting next to him like this. And he had a fishing spool here. And he would have his glasses. Oh, I don't have any on. He had his glasses, and he would sit there.
There you go.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, let's get it right.
These are sunglasses, though. But that
no. Here's this better, Harold.
Oh, these are better? All right, hand me those.
I'm sorry.
Okay. So Gorman would sit there, all right? And he'd have all his fishing things that he would do here set up, and he'd be working on his fly fishes. And he'd hear me yell at him. He'd go, all right, kid, thanks. He'd set this down, put his batting gloves on, reach over, grab his bat, and walk out there, have his AB, boom, come back, and I'd come peeking there an inning or two later, and he'd have his gloves sitting here. He'd throw his glasses back on.
No way!
Harold, how did he do that year? How did he do?
He always raked.